OK, well, let's head up to our commentary team for the start of this game. Mike Finnerty and Nicky English.
Yeah, thanks, Gráinne. It's the match we've all been waiting for. Munster's green giants against the sleeping giants, the champions against the challengers, and it's almost showtime. So first, let's get a quick look at how the teams line out, starting with Cork. Kieran Kingston, he's made 7 changes to the team that were beaten by Limerick in the league 4 weeks ago. Goalkeeper Patrick Collins is not one of them, but this is his first championship start. Midfield has been overhauled with the dynamic Dara Fitzgibbon partnering the versatile Ger Limerick. It's also a first day out at this level for number 10 Conor Cahalane. Up front, the Cork attack will be spearheaded by record-chasing team captain Patrick Horgan. With everyone fit and available, John Kiley has picked his strongest team and sends out 13 of the side that started last December's All-Ireland final. The 2 men called up are battle-hardened at this level. Richie English from Doon starts at number 3, and at the other end of the field, Peter Casey from the Piershig is picked at corner forward. Dan Morrissey and Graham Mulcahy both drop to the bench, with teenagers Colin Coughlin and Cathal O'Neill also among the subs. The champions are captained by big number 8, Will O'Donoghue. Well, it is a lovely summer's evening here in Thurles. The pitch is in immaculate condition and everything as it should be for a Munster Championship semi-final. It even feels like the championship. Almost 2,500 supporters in here with us at Semple Stadium, bringing some colour, bringing some noise. Hopefully Limerick and Cork now will bring their A-games. Well, Nicky English is alongside me. Nicky, Munster Championship hurling back at Semple Stadium, and great to see a crowd in as well.
As you say, great to see a crowd. The pitch looks fantastic. The weather is beautiful for a game, perfect conditions, and certainly the Munster Hurling Championship has a lot to live up to after the match we've just seen in Croke Park between Kilkenny and Wexford. But I think we're going to get a really good game here tonight, because you know Cork they're a dangerous team for Limerick over the last number of years. As good as Limerick have been, Cork have always been causing trouble, and Cork are really up for it tonight. They have a lot of pace. Can they get enough of the ball to actually use that pace is the key for them. They look very sharp in the warm-up, and on the other hand, Limerick as well, they look a lot tighter and a lot sharper to me than they did during the league, when you know they took that break in January, February, and you know they left a little bit of work on early in the league. But certainly tonight they look in very, very good shape as well. So I think we can look forward to a huge game here tonight, and if Limerick come through this in good style, they'll be clear favourites for the All-Ireland.
First, Oran Levine. Rousing rendition of the national anthem. There's our match referee, Paul O'Dwyer from the Palatine Club in County Carlow. He also took charge of the championship match between these teams 2 years ago. His linesmen Liam Gordon and David Hughes. Cork have won the toss. Patrick Horgan has elected to play down towards the Killiney end, away to our left for the first half. Before a ball is pucked, Limerick are the favourites to march on and into another Munster final. But Cork believe they have the game plan and the players to crack the champions' code. Away we go here at Semple in the first of the Munster Championship semi-finals this weekend. Early touch for Sean O'Donoghue, now Niall O'Leary. And across into space to Damien Cahalane. Swirling breeze here at Semple at the moment, not really favouring either side, if we're being honest, as Dara Fitzgibbon tries to float this through. Tom Morrissey had dropped back into the pocket. And here's Dara O'Donovan, the Limerick midfielder. First time ball out in front of Seamus Flanagan. He's got Damien Cahalane for company. Flanagan trying to take him on the outside. Mark Coleman across to double up. Flanagan though so strong. Fouled and a free in.
Flanagan did very, very well there to get on the ball. Good ball being played in by Dara Donovan, and a lot of space in front of the Limerick full forward line. But Flanagan normally he takes a shot from that side, but in this case he took on Cahalane and ran, and eventually fouled by Cadigan.
So a first shot at goal for Aaron Gillan from Patrick's Well. Helped himself to 13 points against Cork back in the summer of 2018. Strikes it high, straight and true. Limerick lead.
Gillan is their real key man up in the front. Outstanding player, had a great year last year, and you know, beautiful strike from the free.
Patrick Collins on his championship debut, knocking it down this left wing, looking for another of the debutants, Conor Cahalane. Interestingly, the Collins brothers from Ballinhassig are the two goalkeepers in the Cork squad this summer. Sure, the understudy to his brother Patrick. Peter Casey uses the boot there cleverly to Will O'Donoghue. The two Napirshick men combine. O'Donoghue using his power. Lovely backdoor pass to Casey, who juggles it, controls it, and takes the point. Limerick off to a flying start.
Great touch by Casey, because the ball from Will O'Donoghue wasn't exactly perfect, but he was able to react quickly and get a great touch. Will O'Donoghue did well, but look at that touch by Casey to control it, and maybe even had half a chance of a goal.
Collins again goes left. Robbie O'Flynn is underneath this one. Bet Diarmuid Burns in the air, shoots hurriedly, and that's away for Cork's first wide off the stick of the wing forward from Aaron's own.
Yeah, the key word is hurriedly, really. He had plenty of time there to actually take a few more steps and make sure of that one.
Short puck out from Quaid to Nash, and Limerick are on the front foot again, trying to feed Aaron Gillan. Well read by Sean O'Donoghue. Support from Mark Coleman, the conductor of so many of Cork's attacks. Robbie O'Flynn drops deep, trying to link defence and attack. Knocks it down the line. He was looking for Seamie Harnedy, beaten in the air by Declan Hannon. Here's the hurler of the year, Garrod Hegarty, to Hannon. Lovely touch and close control. Limerick looking full of confidence early on. O'Donovan, the diagonal ball. Gillan's intentions, though, read by O'Donoghue. He's got so much pace, the corner back from Inishcara. That was really well played as well by O'Flynn. Ger Millerick, the third of the championship newcomers, over the head of Horgan. Runs through to Nicky Quaid. Barry Nash there had to use some fancy footwork just to lose Jack O'Connor. Nobody at home in the Limerick full forward line. Dara Fitzgibbon, former All-Star, pops it across. Space for O'Donoghue to run into. He's looking to service Shane Kingston. Nearest Limerick defender to him initially was Declan Hannon. Shut down very quickly by Kyle Hayes. Sideline cut to Cork.
No room there for Shane Kingston. You know, he took maybe a little bit too much out of it. He should have let it back across, but you know, you see Kyle Hayes is a huge man and was putting big pressure on the ball.
Harnedy back to Kingston. Doesn't have much room to work with. Kingston shoots it across the face of goal and away and wide.
Yeah, Limerick have huge numbers, you know, withdrawn. They only have the two up front, and at this stage Cian Lynch inside the Limerick 45-metre line, or inside the Cork 45-metre line, apologies.
All eyes on Nicky Quaid. Goes long, right down the middle, over the head of Morrissey, batted away and back up the field again by Owen Cadigan. Flanagan, Seamus Flanagan falls over. Damien Cahalane and Ger Millerick trying to dig it out. Millerick comes away with it, played all his underage hurling at wing back, wears 9 tonight to Dara Fitzgibbon. Covers the ground so quickly, shortens the grip, and there's Cork's first score.
Yeah, much more composure from Dara Fitzgibbon. He took the ball on and made sure, but good work by Jerry Limerick earlier on to find him with a very good pass. And a good score for Cork to help them settle down.
First score for Fitzgibbon, first for Cork. Limerick's puck out already delivered long. Breaks into the path of Robbie O'Flynn to Tim O'Mahony from Newtown Shandrum. Right on the Cork-Limerick border. That was really well done by Kyle Hayes. Lifted it, spun away from the tackle and feeds it in towards Aaron Gillan. Jumping with O'Donoghue. Across to cover came Tim O'Mahony, but Gillan had the speed there to beat him to the punch. Recycle back out the field to Darragh O'Donovan, who shoots on sight. And that's away for a Limerick wide.
Yeah, poor wide by Darragh O'Donovan there. He had a bit more time than he thought, but you know, Gillan did well to find him. But the battle between Sean O'Donoghue and Gillan is interesting. Donoghue is doing well so far.
So much focus in the build-up about the Cork puck out. This time Collins goes long, out towards Robbie O'Flynn on the halfway line. Couldn't control it. It is smashed back in towards the Cork goal. But a very uncharacteristic miss from Tom Morrissey.
Yeah, we have seen very little of the Limerick half-forward line, yet Morrissey, Lynch or Hegarty, they've been withdrawn, and it'll be interesting to see how Coleman versus Lynch goes in this game. It's one of the key battles.
Well, Cork not playing out through the lines just yet. Perhaps that will come later. Patrick Collins again goes long, deep into Limerick territory. And almost inevitable, Nicky. So much talk about it in the build-up. First 7 minutes, Cork have tried something different.
Yeah, they were under a lot of pressure in the league game on their puck outs and went short, so they had to really do something different. But Patrick Collins hasn't been exactly foot perfect with the puck out so far. One of them went out over the line. They haven't won a lot, but at the same time they are trying something different.
Cork now trying to engineer something from here, but that's a poor delivery right into the lap of Darragh O'Donovan. Referee is playing an advantage, none coming. Well, just off the ball there, Garrod Hegarty seemed to be caught by, was it Tim O'Mahony? Not quite sure if the linesman on this near side saw it or not. I see John Kiley is trying to bring his attention to what he saw. But doesn't look like...
Looks like there's no action.
Looks like Paul O'Dwyer is going to let it continue, so Limerick will take the free. Jeremy Burns drops it in, dangerous delivery. Mark Coleman, solid underneath it, carries it clear. Out towards Conor Cahalane. Lovely pick initially by Hegarty, but just knocked out of his hand again. Lynch crowded out of it. Jeremy Burns seizes onto the break. Jeremy Millerick does well, though, to stand him up. Now O'Mahony comes in to try and get a piece of Hegarty. Limerick get the free. Well, the hit's coming thick and fast.
Yeah, you see Kieran Kingston getting very animated there. You know, very happy with the way Jeremy Millerick was standing up there with Burns and working very, very hard, and he's been doing that. But ultimately, you know, 2 or 3 of them get around Ger Hegarty and foul him there. Probably no need of it, really. They had enough of numbers there to put him under pressure.
And it looks like a Cork man or two may have spoken out of turn. Ball has been moved in much closer to goal. And Aaron Gillan has a more straightforward chance now to top up the Limerick lead. 2 for Gillan, 3 for Limerick. Top scored for the All-Ireland champions during the National League, Aaron Gillan, 34 points. And into his stride here very early on. Touchdown by Burns. Hegarty read his mind. Flanagan's in after this, and Patrick Collins stood his ground and gets it away. Mark Coleman from Blarney takes that extra second, delivers the ball in towards Jack O'Connor. Free in. Paul O'Dwyer just felt there Barry Nash had nudged the corner forward. I think Nash may have felt it was the other way around.
I'd say it was certainly accidental, if anything, but I think just Barry Nash just maybe took his feet just before the ball came and or actually just fell under him and impeded him getting the ball. But again, the puck out for Cork really been dealt with very well by Limerick and their size in their half-back line.
So Patrick Horgan with this first free.
Not one of his better ones, but still inside the post.
No mistake from Horgan. Just looking down at the other end in terms of matchups, Tim O'Mahony is picking up Garrod Hegarty, Mark Coleman touch tight on Cian Lynch, and that leaves Owen Cadigan with Tom Morrissey. That's the way the Cork half back line have lined up. Here is Tom Morrissey. Space for Peter Casey to work with. Coming across to closing down now is Niall O'Leary, the corner back from Castlelyons. Couldn't be much closer. Casey ducking and diving, and he wins his free, and Kieran Kingston cannot believe that decision has gone against Cork and Owen Cadigan.
Yeah, Owen Cadigan not happy either. Peter Casey did well. He was under awful pressure first of all, and yeah, I see he's ducking down and the hurley is coming around his neck, so in most cases that will be a free. Both cornerbacks for Cork have been doing well so far.
So here's Aaron Gillan, his 20th championship appearance, and from an identical position to where he scored earlier, knocks over his third of the evening. Balmy summer conditions now here at Semple Stadium. Damien Cahalane, this time Cork do go short with the puck out, but they manage to get it away. Patrick Collins may not thank Coleman for that pass, but clears it out to the right-hand side to O'Donoghue. Took an extra touch, and now delivers a big, booming ball in towards Kingston. Just sat up for Horgan and Sean Finn, and the Limerick cornerback tidied that up very neatly. Damien Cahalane caught there by the hurley of Seamus Flanagan, and the Cork crowd not happy. Kieran Kingston, the manager, furious. And all eyes now on Paul O'Dwyer to see what action he might take.
Yeah, I think Seamus Flanagan is certainly trying to flick the ball, but he just flicks the helmet, and that'll certainly be a yellow card.
So Seamus Flanagan in the book after 13 minutes.
Just before that, there was a great chance for Diarmuid Burns to find Garrod Hegarty right in the middle of the field. He was completely open and he overhit the pass. It's certainly a yellow card. It's, you know, I know he tries to flick the ball, but it's quite nasty, really.
So Damien Cahalane from St. Finbarr's just being worked on at the moment, lining out with Cork today alongside his brother Conor, both of them sons of the former Cork footballer Niall Cahalane, All-Ireland medal winner back in 1989 and 1990. And as Cahalane trots back into the edge of the square, out comes Patrick Horgan, deep into his own half to strike this free. Low trajectory, taken by Nicky Quaid, and he clears it first time out to Kyle Hayes. The reigning Munster and All-Ireland champions Limerick, setting the pace here early on. Horgan, who had hovered around centre-back, drives it up to where he should have been, and that's easy for Richie English, who bounces it forward to Kyle Hayes. Now the diagonal ball towards the target man, Flanagan. Too much pace on the pass over the head of Flanagan and Cahalane, and that will run wide.
Yeah, plenty aimless hurling here so far. The last ball by Patrick Horgan, you know, just very, very poor back up into Richie English, and again, the pass from Limerick overhit for Seamus Flanagan.
You can almost sense the Limerick full forward line tempting Patrick Collins to hit a short one, and he obliges. Now Peter Casey takes that step forward. Tim O'Mahony trying to break that first tackle. Advantage being played, and Cork have found a way out. Conor Cahalane. Here's Niall O'Leary, who's come all the way up from corner back. Still going. Support inside from Harnedy. Had it, dropped it, might fall. Shot, goal! Shane Kingston in the right place at the right time, and he was the right man.
Yeah, very neat finish by Shane Kingston. The ball bobbled around, but we've seen Cork all through the league. They've really been looking for goals, and here they are again. You know, the ball bounces away from Harnedy. Nice little touch off the ground by Shane Kingston, and there you go.
Well, the man who was Cork's water boy 10 years ago, Shane Kingston, buries his 9th championship goal, and Cork, the challengers, strike for the first goal of this Munster semi-final. Well, the Cork supporters in the crowd here of almost 2,500 find their voice. The game needed that goal. Cork needed that goal. And here they come again. Jack O'Connor just sneaks a glance at the posts. What a score. Well, he's known for his goal scoring. That's a terrific point.
That is a great score by Jack O'Connor. You know, he's on one of the best cornerbacks in the game, Sean Finn. Gets the ball inside and comes back out around and over the, you know, has the composure to be able to take that point and ease it in on the wind.
Well, we knew this Cork team set up to score goals. That's their 19th of the season. Buried 18 of them in the Allianz League. And it's taken them just under a quarter of an hour to beat Nicky Quaid, a man who hadn't conceded a goal in Limerick's last 3 championship games of 2020.
Yeah, and it was a very, very nice finish. And, you know, you see Limerick again over-hitting the pass into either Peter Casey or Aaron Gillan. The service from Limerick is poor.
Here's Tom Morrissey seizing on to the spill ball. But that's away and wide. It's a missed opportunity. And there goes the whistle for the first water break. It's advantage Cork, thanks to that Shane Kingston goal. And his father, Kieran, looks extremely pleased. Let's head to the studio and get the thoughts of the panel.
Yeah, look, a very, very, very good game. Very open as well. And Niall O'Leary made a burst up the field there to make that goal for Shane Kingston as well. Cork are kind of dictating plays. We just want to let you, the viewers home, know what kind of formation they're looking at there as well. The big one is Mark Coleman and Cian Lynch. When Cian Lynch drifts out the field, you see number 9, Jerry Limerick, he drops back, he picks up Cian Lynch. So that means Mark Coleman can sit in front of David Catalan and Sean O'Donoghue. The big ones there, Tim O'Mahony is going toe-to-toe with Gerard Hegarty, and Owen Cadding is going toe-to-toe with Tom Morrissey. So it's interesting to see what all the matchups that Cork have is after benefiting in the first 10-15 minutes, so we'll see how they go later on.
Thank you, JJ. That last wide, by the way, from Tom Morrissey, Limerick's 5th. They have been far from economical, Nicky, as we take another look at Shane Kingston's goal.
Yeah, his touch off the ground just pops up into his hand, and then, you know, he gets very composed actually when he gets the ball here. Look, he's nice and easy and make sure he gets a nice strike in on the ground. But just you speak about Limerick's wides. I mean, their striking has been poor. You take Tom Morrissey's couple of efforts at goal. Dara Donovan had an effort at goal, and they were way off the target. And then, you know, balls that they're delivering into the full forward line. You know, the Cork's full back line is very, very good. Particularly the cornerbacks, O'Leary and O'Donoghue, they're very, very sticky. You need good ball going in there, but really the ball is just flying in there, hopping off the ground, and most of the time just going harmlessly wide. So, you know, Limerick, for a lot of the dominance they had in the middle third in that first quarter, really, you know, it's a poor return to be 6-4 behind, and Cork actually gaining momentum.
So Patrick Collins will get us underway again, the Cork goalkeeper. Over the head of Millerick, and easy for Hegarty. Nobody coming out to put in a challenge. It's a free shot for the hurler of the year, and another wayward effort. 6 wides now for Limerick.
Yeah, we saw a lot of wides here last week between Waterford and Clare, and Limerick are maintaining that pattern here. But that ball by Hegarty was poorly struck. Even with wider, you know, it just was very poorly struck.
Another long puck out. Dara Fitzgibbon is chasing after it. Barry Nash again, foot perfect. Kyle Hayes turns into some traffic. Support from Declan Hannon, the All-Ireland winning captain. Again, Seamus Flanagan is on the move. Popping up on this right wing. Nothing obvious on short. Flanagan goes for his own score. It's very close. The umpire in no doubt. Flanagan's first. Limerick back to within 1.
Much better ball, and it's from Declan Hannon, perfectly judged, and the ball in front of Flanagan, who did well to score it.
Possession secured by Seamus Harnedy. Beats 3 Limerick defenders. Harnedy on the run, and that's away and wide. The approach work was top class. 3rd miss for Cork. Nicky Quaid's quick puck out. Garrod Hegarty Superbly taken. He's got Cian Lynch to his left, Flanagan to his right. Hegarty bulldozing through. Ball breaks. Lynch shoots. Flashes wide. Well, once Garrod Hegarty got within shooting sight of goal, it was panic stations.
Yeah, Garrod Hegarty was hoping to put it out. Great catch, and he was hoping to get it out to the right-hand side to Flanagan, but Callahan held his ground, and then a great touch by Mark Coleman, and Lynch following up, hits it really, really well, but just wide.
Cork puck out, driven back towards their own goal, and Peter Casey goes one way, then the other, back to William O'Donoghue. O'Donoghue hits it high and away to the left. 8 wides for Limerick, one after another.
Those wides have to be worrying for John Kiley, because, you know, they drain a team of confidence and energy if it continues.
Patrick Collins picks out Harnedy, scraped the skies to take it down, makes the angle. Much better from Harnedy, much better from Cork.
Yeah, Harnedy has won the last 2 puck-outs actually from Patrick Collins, and there gets onto his left-hand side, and nice easy point for him.
Cian Lynch being held by Mark Coleman. Free into Limerick. Well, yeah. Lynch got much the better of that battle in the league a few weeks ago. Yeah, Mark Coleman not giving him an inch this evening.
No, Mark Coleman is really marking Cian Lynch this evening, and he's protesting his innocence there, but it's a very clear foul.
Very hard man to pin down, Cian Lynch.
He's a fantastic player, Cian Lynch, and you know, he hasn't, I suppose, from a Limerick perspective, they'd want to see him more in the game than he has been so far.
Here's his club mate, Aaron Gillan. 4 target practice. The angle suits him, and Aaron Gillan knocks over his 4th. Gets that scoreboard moving again. Just one between them. Robbie O'Flynn, faced by Kyle Hayes and William O'Donoghue. Ball spooned into the centre towards Seamus Harnedy. That's high, and that's a free in. Burns on Harnedy, right in front of Paul O'Dwyer.
And again, Cork actually getting a bit more success now out of their puck-outs. You see this. Dermot Burns, like it's very agricultural at best, really. Look, he's holding and fouling, and he's going to pick up a yellow card for that. But Cork could be happier with their puck-out strategy. We saw there their half-forward line went right back in front of their full-forward line and left a load of space and come out and win. Robbie O'Flynn caught the ball perfectly.
Well, that was a proper clothesline by Dermot Burns on Seamus Harnedy. Burns booked, and Seamus Harnedy back on his feet. Game hasn't opened up just yet, but it's every bit as tight and as tense as the scoreline suggests. 2 for Horgan, 8 for Cork, and a little bit of breathing space.
Yeah, and a better strike by Patrick Horgan. His first 2 frees really wouldn't be at his level, but he hits that one a lot better.
Ball breaks kindly for Limerick, and he sets Dara Fitzgibbon away. Conor Cahalane back to Fitzgibbon. The 2 of them on the same wavelength. Fitzgibbon shoots. Poor wide. Could have travelled on a little further. Took the shot. Cork's 4th miss. Seamus Harnedy intercepts the Limerick puck out. Now he has options. Conor Cahalane peels away to his left. That's wild and well wide.
They're two very bad wides there from Cork. You know, that was a very easy chance, both very easy chances. But Seamus Harnedy is playing very, very well for Cork at centre forward at the moment, getting on a lot of ball.
A lot at stake, and you can feel the nervous tension as Barry Nash cuts right through the Cork defence. Gillan went one way and the ball went the other, and Ger Limerick delighted to see it come his way. Free out. Limerick looked like they were in there.
Great run by Barry Nash all the way. He's waiting for Gillan to make the move, and then to just get their signals mixed up here at the very end and bypass one another.
Just 2 points from play so far for the All-Ireland champions. Their defence called into action here. Pound for pound, Sean Finn, as good as there is in the game. does what he's there to do. Free out for Nicky Quaid.
Yeah, in last year's championship, Limerick were, they were averaging up around the 30 points, so they're a bit down on their scoring averages tonight so far.
Garrod Hegarty switches wings to try and give Quaid an option. Ball breaks to Robbie O'Flynn, moving up through the gears. Again, Conor Cahalane is his outlet. Drops the shoulder to go inside Diarmuid Byrnes. Casey's after him, Hannon too. Cahalane fouled, free in. Well, the Cork pace causing the Limerick backline problems. Every chance they get, they're driving hard at the heart of the Limerick cover.
Yeah, certainly Cork have a huge pace in their team, and that was their plan. They had to get possession, but they're winning loads of possession, and then when they get it, they're taking them on. And you see the Limerick half-back line on the turn. Diarmuid Byrnes was chasing shadows. Hannon was passed, and Peter Casey is going through there, and I think the referee has decided that's a sin binning, that there was a goal chance on here.
So Peter Casey is indeed being sent to the sin bin because that foul happened inside the arc. It's a penalty for Cork and Patrick Horgan. So Limerick down to 14 men for the next 10 minutes. And Patrick Horgan faces Nicky Quaid. A big moment in the Munster semi-final. Saved by Quaid. He guessed right, got down low and denies the master goal scorer Patrick Horgan. Just look what it means to Limerick. They are down to 14 men, but they have just dodged a bullet.
What a great save by Nicky Quaid. Watch this. Gets down quickly and superb save against one of the best in the business, Patrick Horgan, taking those penalties. And Limerick managed to mop it up and clear it out.
So Nicky Quaid denies Horgan his 23rd championship goal with a wonderful save. Will that spark this Munster semi-final to life? Kieran Kingston and Tim O'Mahony celebrate that free to Cork like they'd scored the penalty. There's another look at the foul by Peter Casey on Conor Cahalane. It was inside the arc.
And it's, if he was inside the arc, he did pull him down. I mean, it's up to the referee then. After that, it's his interpretation of what's a goal chance, and in Padraig Dwyer's opinion, there was a goal chance on there.
So now, can Cork make the extra man count? From here to half-time, they will have that significant advantage. Right now, Mark Coleman is the spare man. He's sitting back in front of his full back line. But how big a moment will that save from Nicky Quaid turn out to be?
It's huge because Cork have been gaining momentum, and Peter Casey had worked back a long way, and it was a brilliant save by Nicky Quaid. And Cork are they're hunting in packs. They're showing all the greater intensity. Limerick struggling in lots of places just now.
So Diarmuid Byrnes won his first All-Star last year. He's an expert long-range free taker, but his eye not in either just yet. 9 wides for Limerick.
Normally the wind into the town end in Thurles goal is from left to right, but tonight it's a bit unusually, it's going from right, going the other way, and Byrnes fooled on that occasion.
Collins with an inch-perfect delivery to Tim O'Mahony. Finds himself inside enemy territory. Shane Kingston takes on the shot, but free out. Jack O'Connor, or in fact Dara Fitzgibbon, had committed a third-man tackle there, I think, on Barry Nash to screen him. There you can see it, spotted by the referee.
Yeah, Shane Kingston actually in the first instance, Dara Fitzgibbon runs across him and interferes with his first touch, and then Fitzgibbon continues on into Barry Nash and concedes a needless free.
Ball spilled by Mark Coleman, who is, by the looks of things, the spare man. Here's Cian Lynch, shoots on sight. And Cian Lynch, the former hurler of the year, knocks over his first point of the evening.
Yeah, Cian Lynch has actually initially moved into the full forward line and to lose Coleman, and he's now been marked by Niall O'Leary.
Spectacular catch by Diarmuid Byrnes, who drills it back with interest. Limerick now in double figures.
Yeah, and all of them most of them are on that left-hand post over there, and which is You know, which they're maybe been fooled by the wind, I don't know, but they're bad wides in any event.
The Limerick creating and not taking so many scoring opportunities. Cork still a point in front. And they have the extra man. Patrick Horgan, the captain, hugging that far sideline. Made just enough of an angle to shoot. Off target.
Yeah, Cork have been guilty themselves of some bad wides there, and another one from Horgan. Just when, you know, they have a chance of opening up the gap with an extra man, and they're just not able to do it.
That's some catch by Garrod Hegarty. Fires it through to Cian Lynch. Off balance, over his shoulder. What a score. Cian Lynch, a master craftsman with the equaliser.
Yeah, since Limerick changed formation with the extra man, and Lynch has got onto Niall O'Leary, he's done a lot better. 2 quick points.
Sides level for the very first time here in the Munster semi-final at Semple Stadium. We're heading towards the final 5 minutes of normal time at the end of the first half. Niall O'Leary to Coleman. Just ran out of road there. Chased down a blind alley by William O'Donoghue and Cian Lynch. Kyle Hayes sees it kicked away from it. Hurley of O'Donoghue has caught Limerick. Cork will have a free now, and they also want a card by the looks of things for Will O'Donoghue.
Yeah, Will O'Donoghue might be a bit unlucky. He was initially trying to control the ball and you know, move, but his hurley is up head high, and he connects again with the helmet. It'll be interesting to see then thereafter what happened with Garrod Hegarty and the Cork player.
So William O'Donoghue picks up the 4th yellow card of the match. Here's why.
Be interesting to see the next bit of it here where Garrod Hegarty comes in. Might be arguably even a little bit worse.
Limerick so physical, so abrasive in that middle third of the field. Their half-back line alone bigger than the Irish rugby team's back row, I read during the week. Limerick, they're feeling the full force. O'Donoghue in the book. Horgan hits the point. And that now means since Peter Casey was sent to the bin, Limerick have outscored Cork by 2 points to 1. But crucially, the Rebels back in front.
Yeah, certainly Limerick have really upped their work rate since Casey has been in.
William O'Donoghue again in the thick of it. Limerick's big powerhouse midfielder has won a free. Well, he's certainly up for it.
Yeah, he's a huge man, Will O'Donoghue, and you know, last year improved a lot and was one of their very, very key players all through the championship. And again, you know, running straight at the Cork defence, trying to pick up the ball and drawing a yellow card.
Well, Paul O'Dwyer has got his work cut out this evening by the looks of it. 5 players now on yellow cards, all of them walking a thin line.
Yeah, he's a judge, and that Damien is coming across with the hurley there.
So a chance for Aaron Gillan to tie it up again. 5 points for him, all from frees, paying his way. Sides level for the second time. Cork goes short. Mark Coleman plays a quick 1-2. Did really well to hang on to that ball, tiptoeing up along the sideline. Dara Fitzgibbon coming off his shoulder is Damien Cahalane. Loves to get forward. To Harnedy as Cork work their way through the lines and into the Limerick half of the field. Here's Tim O'Mahony just outside the 45. No pressure. O'Mahony shoots and scores his first.
Yeah, Kieran Kingston will be delighted with that. That's great play by Cork. From Coleman holding on to the ball, starting off. They moved it all the way across, and eventually Harnedy is able to pop it out to Tim O'Mahony, who takes a nice score.
Nicky Quaid from Effin down towards Seamus Flanagan. Turns 24 today, the Limerick full forward. Gives it to Morrissey, back to Flanagan. Takes it, controls it, fires in the shot. Well, he's had a few misses. Gets his second point of the evening.
That's much better by Seamie Flanagan. Initially won the ball, gave it off to Morrissey and takes the return pass. Actually, Kyle Hayes had made a great run on the outside of him. So it was another option available if he wanted it.
Sides level again. We're right back at square one. Seamus Harnedy under pressure from Kyle Hayes, who knocked him out of his stride. And Limerick are on the front foot. One man up, Aaron Gillan. Sean O'Donoghue does really well. Well, O'Donoghue picked Gillan's pocket, wins a free. And that is exactly what Kieran Kingston was looking for.
O'Donoghue has played really, really well on Gillan. You know, that's a dangerous ball in one-on-one. You know, he wins the ball very strong in the air, comes back around, and you know, just Cian Lynch is coming through on him there, and he wins the free.
Peter Casey getting ready to come back into the game now any moment. He's got his helmet back on, and here he comes. His 10 minutes in the bin have elapsed, and we're going to have at least 2 minutes of additional time at the end of the first half. Well, without him, the All-Ireland champions haven't done too badly. No,
they've held in well while he's been in the bin, and you know, we saw earlier today as well, Kilkenny did well when Owen Murphy, the goalkeeper, was in the bin. So you know, the team, actually, it's typical when players have got sent off in the past. The team actually, with the man down, works a lot harder, and that's what's happened here over the last 10 minutes. And Limerick have really upped their work rate and played better. And of course, Cork had a couple of poor wides as well during the period.
Well, worryingly for Kieran Kingston, Sean O'Donoghue is still down. The man from Inishcara played a lot of football and hurling during his underage years before concentrating on the small ball.
Yes, he's well put together, as you can see there, and he's been outstanding so far tonight.
O'Donoghue paired off with Aaron Gillan. Damien Callan on Flanagan as down at the other end. Patrick Horgan sees that monster effort sail just wide. 7 wides for Cork in this first half, and remember, they've also seen a penalty saved by Nicky Quaid. So 15 plays 15 as we swing into the last minute of this first half. Cian Lynch, not quite sure how he picked that, slips it through. It's O'Donovan, deflected and in. Limerick get their goal, and Patrick Collins is beaten. The Empire strikes back at Semple Stadium, and it's Aaron Gillan, who was poaching in close to goal, who got the final touch.
Well, watch Lynch, how he got that ball into his hand was unbelievable, and it comes, I think it comes off Sean O'Donoghue, and it's Darragh Donovan hits it here. Yeah, we've been praising Sean O'Donoghue, but he's really unlucky there, and deflects it past his own goalkeeper.
It was indeed the shot from O'Donovan, the deflection from O'Donoghue, and it flew past Patrick Collins.
But the absolute genius of Cian Lynch there in the crowd. He had the ball up in his hand in a second, and the vision to find Darragh O'Donovan in acres of space. And Darragh O'Donovan did well, got a very good first touch and hit it well. But
Will Limerick get the rub of the green as Tim O'Mahony strikes this cut agonisingly wide?
It was a great sideline ball by Tim O'Mahony, but you know, that's one that they could have done with really to answer the goal.
But so many twists and turns in this first half. So many chances missed at both ends. As Gillan pops it through to Kyle Hayes, they're hunting another goal. Hayes makes an angle, goes low. What a finish! What a goal! Kyle Hayes. Well, they haven't scored a goal for so long in the championship. They scored 2 in 60-odd seconds. And there is the half-time whistle. Limerick have rocked Cork right back in their heels.
That's an unbelievable goal for Limerick. Kyle Hayes had actually run for the puck out and then kept going. Fantastic ball from Gillan, hopped up to him, and then Kyle Hayes, what a player he is, and the power of him, and just finishes into the net. So what a turnaround in the last couple of minutes by Limerick.
It's a 4th goal for Kyle Hayes in his Limerick career, and the All-Ireland champions bounce down the tunnel here at Semple Stadium at half-time. It's Limerick 2-10, Cork 1-7. Thanks, Grania. Perfect timing. Away we go again. And over the next 35 minutes or so, that perennial question: can Cork win a battle? Can they grind out a result? We're going to find out. They'll have to come from behind here if they're to book a place in the Munster final. As Gareth Hegarty links with Cian Lynch, slips it off to William O'Donoghue, using that power to break the line. O'Donoghue, shot always rising, and it flies over the bar. Perfect start for Limerick and William O'Donoghue.
Power of William O'Donoghue on top of the power of Gareth Hegarty. They held on to the ball well, Lynch onto it, and Will O'Donoghue maybe even had a half chance of a goal, but he happy with the point.
Patrick Collins goes long. There is a strong sun now shining down into the eyes of the Cork forwards in this second half. Could be a bit of an issue as Seamie Harnedy goes low to win that dirty ball, wins a free in. But Nicky, just talking at half-time, you've obviously played so many matches here at Semple Stadium over the years, making the point you've never seen the playing surface look so good.
Yeah, it's been absolutely, it's in fabulous condition. I walked across it just before the match, and it really is as good as I've ever seen it. It's a credit to the ground staff and Pádraig Green, who's only recently taken over here as groundsman.
Seamus Harnedy there just limping away from that scene of the crime.
Well, he certainly is. Cork won't want to lose Harnedy because he's really been on good form tonight, as good as he has been for a number of years.
Leads their attack in tandem with the free taker, Patrick Horgan. That's 4 points for him. And the man from Glen Rovers just cancels out that score from O'Donoghue a few moments ago. Well, Limerick unbeaten in all competitions last year, on their way to League, Munster and All-Ireland titles. A few chinks in their armour exposed during this season's league. In fact, they lost a couple of games for the first time back-to-back in quite a while. But John Kiley saying beforehand he felt they were ready. They had a bank of work done over the last 10 weeks that was focused on this game. And so far, so good for them, as Shane Kingston makes some ground up that far side, runs through all the way to Nicky Quaid. And Quaid takes no chances, looking for Cian Lynch. He's got Mark Coleman for company. Line ball to Cork. Yeah,
so Cork are back into the original formation they started with 15 on 15 and Coleman back on Lynch again. But that was a poor miss by Shane Kingston. He had plenty of time and off his left-hand side, and you can see there he's disappointed with himself.
Well, mention of the league, Cork did lose their last 2 league matches against Limerick and Galway. It wasn't the run into the championship they would have been hoping for. And at times you can just sense a little bit of a hangover as they try to get into a rhythm, try to get into their groove. And there again, it's just too tight between O'Donoghue and Coleman, and it breaks down.
Yeah, just uncertainty. And yeah, maybe that's a hangover from the league where they lost those 2 games, and particularly the last one against Galway, because whether they were showing their hand against Limerick or not, we don't know, but certainly they were showing it against Galway and completely came unstuck finishing up in that game.
Good pressure by Limerick, and now a chance for Dara O'Donovan. Needs support, goes back to Jeremy Byrne, standing just on the 65, drills it low and hard and accurately over the bar. Well, his eye is in now, all right. That's his first.
Yeah, great play by Dara O'Donovan, held on to the ball under a lot of pressure, and there's Burns getting, as you say, getting his eye in, and that's bad news for Cork. But Cork looked very uncertain, and Sean O'Donoghue, that came from a poor concession of a line ball.
Well, those 2 goals before half-time do seem to have rattled Cork now. Tim O'Mahony, poor ball, right down on top of Declan Hannon. Mops it up at his leisure to Cian Lynch. Man of the match in that league game against Cork last month. Lovely ball, Peter Casey. And now the All-Ireland champions are starting to roll.
Yeah, I see, and Cian Lynch just moves back out onto the middle of the field and loses Mark Coleman. But look at the weight on the pass here. He waited for Peter Casey to make his move. Casey makes the move right in front of him. All he has to do is get easy control and over the bar.
Cork now attacking a wave. Dara Fitzgibbon from Charleville uses his pace to Kingston, the goal scorer. Kingston! Point for Cork. He was looking for that top corner, just too much pace on it, but that'll do for Cork for now.
Yeah, for sure he was looking for the goal. Watch, he's looking at the far corner, the top corner, and just overhits it.
So they go score for score at the start of this second half. There's Sean O'Donoghue, the man who was unfortunate to deflect that goal-bound shot from Darragh O'Donovan into his own net late in the first half. All the talk in the build-up about Cork being the team that needed to score goals here to win. And instead, Limerick that have hit 2 so far. Robbie O'Flynn away from William O'Donoghue. So much speed in this Cork front 8. And Robbie O'Flynn knocks over his first of the evening.
That's better from Cork. Again, as you say, they have huge pace, and Robbie O'Flynn, one of the fastest of them.
Nicky Quaid over towards Tom Morrissey, jumping with Owen Cadigan, man who won an All-Ireland football medal back in 2010 with Cork. Sean O'Donoghue shields it from Gillan. Shane Kingston, who's dropped deep now to try and cause Limerick a few issues. To Ger Millerick on his first championship start. Back to Kingston. Space was getting tighter and tighter. Hayes and O'Donovan closing down Millerick. Mistake by Richie English. Line ball to Cork. Good recovery.
Yeah, I think Cork lucky to get away with that one. Over hand pass by Richie English. Shane Kingston really, when he turned onto his left side, he really had to let it go. When he turned back to hit it with his right hand side, he had no chance of hitting the ball.
So they're a confirmation of just how much ball Cian Lynch, Garrod Hegarty, Sean O'Donoghue and Ger Millerick in particular have been on in this game, as Dara Fitzgibbon knocks that sideline cut away for a 9th Cork wide. They are inspirational when they come off, and you can just feel the energy sap a little as that ball flew wide.
Yeah, certainly, and that wasn't as well hit as the first one.
Nicky Quaid looking for Hegarty, the 6'5" Limerick number 10. Here's Tom Morrissey over his shoulder, but it was an aimless shot, really. Yeah, he's now 11 misses for Limerick.
He's a bit frustrated, Tom Morrissey, there with his own shooting. Really, he hasn't been striking the ball very well, and really, I suppose he hasn't been involved in as much as Limerick would want either in the game.
3 wides now for the wing forward from a hand, Tom Morrissey. But Limerick just keeping Cork at a safe distance so far in this 3rd quarter.
Yeah, William O'Donoghue just poor touch there, really. There was 3 Limerick players around that puck out. All he had to do was bat it down, and he actually succeeded only in batting it to the Cork guy, who was outnumbered, and then subsequently give away the free. And a chance for Patrick Horgan, and Cork are easing their way. If they get a couple of more points and ease their way into it, they might find a recovery here.
You'll have caught a glimpse a moment ago there of Shane Barrett from Blarney. He's about to be introduced by Kieran Kingston as Patrick Horgan delivers a big score in every sense of the word. Brings his personal tally up to 5, and now here comes that change. It's Shane Barrett, who will be playing next weekend in the All-Ireland Under-20 final of last year with Cork. And it's Conor Cahalane who sees his championship debut end early in this second half. So everybody awaiting Cork's big kick. Tom Morrissey again digging out that ball, swallowed up by the Cork cover.
Yeah, it's just not working for Tom Morrissey. Concedes a free there for charge, and then just before that he had a great chance to get a touch on it, but just he missed his first touch and got himself into trouble.
It was a really solid hit by Tim O'Mahony that stopped his gallop, and Patrick Horgan has gone all the way back to his own 45 to shoot this free. just over the head of Harnedy. And that will go down as another miss for Cork.
It'll be interesting to see how Shane Barrett goes for Cork. He was very impressive in the early league games, and you know, I thought he might make the team starting off, but you know, Conor Cahalane really hasn't contributed a whole lot, so it'll be interesting to see how Barrett goes here. But marking Kyle Hayes is a tall order really for a young chap.
John Kiley now running his bench for the first time. There's Conor Boylan from the Piershig, and it is Tom Morrissey, who tried and tried everything he knew, just couldn't get going, wasn't firing. And Boylan comes into the Limerick half-forward line.
Yeah, unusual to see Morrissey, just it not working for him. He's an outstanding player and has been a huge player for Limerick in the last couple of seasons.
So Limerick try to work something short from the cut. It's Garrod Hegarty who hits it gently and lofts it over the bar. Well, just there he looked every inch the All-Star and the Hurler of the Year 2020.
Yeah, much more composed strike on the ball there. You know, he flailed at a few of them in the first half and hit him wide, but he seemed to be much more in control of the strike.
So now 5 of Limerick's starting 6 forwards have all scored. Tom Morrissey was the odd man out as Cork try to service that full forward line. Sean Finn from Brough reads the game so well. Out towards Barry Nash. Good play by Shane Kingston. Takes it quickly to Jack O'Connor. We haven't seen a whole lot of him so far, but he's so dangerous. O'Connor from a tight angle somehow squeezes it inside that post and over.
Yeah, great play by Cork. Very quick, unaware by Shane Kingston off the line ball to find him, and look at that speed, and you know, dangerous player Jack O'Connor. And previously Dara Fitzgibbon did really well to control the puck out from Pat Collins.
So Jack O'Connor from SARS with his second point. Peter Casey spins away from O'Leary initially, but the defender made up that ground he'd lost. Fouls Casey in the process. They're having a great battle in that corner.
Yeah, for sure. The two Cork cornerbacks had been going very well. Sean O'Donoghue, I mean, he had the problem with the goal, but Casey is very, very canny player. You know, he'd draw on the foul there. Really, he's always ready to take on the player and score or get a free if he can.
Aaron Gillan with that very distinctive technique, and that now means the teams have shared 10 points evenly between them during this third quarter.
Some sense is a very Limerick technique for taking frees. Somewhat Gary Kirby, Richie Bennis, they all hit it off the left, even though nominally right-handed hurlers.
Maybe a Patrick's Well thing as down at the other end. Here's a chance for O'Flynn to service Horgan. Lovely touch, pulls on it, but across came who else but Sean Finn. Thinking that split second faster than everybody else. Horgan had his finger on the trigger. Richie English back in the team, back in the game after being out last season. Now it's Limerick's turn to give Seamus Flanagan what he wants. Early ball, Flanagan under pressure. That took the sting out of the shot, and Collins will get it clear, but it's a poor delivery. William O'Donoghue back to Richie English again. Flanagan beaten to the punch by Damien Cahalane. And that Limerick full back line right now, they're playing hip to hip.
Yeah, it was a great challenge by Damien Cahalane because Flanagan had the run on him.
Luke Meade getting ready to come in for Cork. Tim O'Mahony finds time, finds space to Jack O'Connor. Just stumbled at the crucial moment, but recovers and takes the point.
You can see the danger that Cork have. You know, they're very, very snappy, very, very quick, and you know, there is likely to be goal chances for Cork yet in this game, I think.
So Kieran Kingston makes the change, and Shamie Harnedy will limp out of this Munster semi-final. Took a few big hits and has to give way.
Yeah, he got a knock on the knee, and you know, Harnedy, you know, since, or maybe a dead leg actually, he's pointing out to Kieran Kingston, and he certainly is a loss to them.
So Luke Meade will bring energy and momentum to that middle third as Conor Boylan tries to drive forward. Back to Gillan. Jinx one way and then the other, and Gillan just wide. Well, it was very, very close.
Very, very close. And again, the breeze here in Thurles is just moving a little bit from left to right as he struck that shot, and eventually just eased it out to the right-hand side of the post.
Kyle Hayes knocks it down gently to Boylan, takes the return. Kyle Hayes playing with such confidence, but he was outside his range there. 13 wides now for Limerick. They are 5 in front, but when you consider all those chances that have gone a-begging, they really should be further ahead.
Yeah, and it's the second or third hand pass we've seen from them going out over the sideline from their backs, and you know, they're leaving Cork hang around in this game. They've had plenty chances to score points and put them away.
So another change for Cork, and this time it is Niall O'Leary who is going to be replaced, and Sean O'Leary-Hayes who comes in, former Cork minor captain, in to try and shut down Peter Casey.
And immediately John Kiley has told Gillan to switch on to him, and I don't think Cork are going to allow that one. Sean O'Donoghue is going to stick with Gillan.
Sean Finn, again, so neat and tidy in those tight spaces, caught on the way out. He gets his free, and he really hasn't put a foot wrong so far.
No, he's an outstanding cornerback, Sean Finn. I think the best in the game, really. He's very aware, and you know, when he comes out with the ball, look, he's Robbie Flynn is probably looking to get away with that.
Robbie O'Flynn there just catching his face guard. This is dropping dangerously in towards the Cork goal, but square ball. Paul O'Dwyer called it from 40 yards away. Aaron Gillan it was who was goal hanging.
Yeah, but again, a harmless wide really in the end from Limerick.
So less than 20 minutes of normal time to play. It's advantage Limerick. Nicky Quaid across his own goal to Diarmuid Burns. Takes his time, weighs up his options, lets it go long, but it's too long, despite the best efforts of Aaron Gillan. Sloppy from Limerick.
Yeah, and you see the Limerick supporters are really, you know, they know they're not home and dry here yet.
Misdirected puck out, taken by Garrod Hegarty and returned with interest. 2 points for Garrod Hegarty, both in the third quarter, and there goes the whistle for the second half water break. Limerick lead by 6. Let's head back to the studio and hear from the panel.
Thanks, lads. Yeah, look at Limerick. I think they're just doing enough. They're keeping Cork at arm's length. Definitely Cork were you know, 4 or 5 points down, but Limerick are after stretching out to 6 again. Garrod Hegarty is starting to find his form there, and the Cork puck outs, I feel Limerick are starting to cover that space now and cut out some of them puck outs and them clearances. So it's going to be hard for Cork to catch Limerick at this stage, I believe.
A big 20 minutes for Cork. If they can get a goal in the next few minutes, it'll bring them right back into the game. But I don't think they're going to pick off Limerick point by point in the last 20 minutes, because they're too good. They'll keep the scoreboard ticking over at their end. So Cork really have to gamble and go for a goal. Get the ball into Jack O'Connor. When he gets the ball in his hand and run at the Limerick full back line, he looks like he has the beatings of him. So look, it's a big 20 minutes there for Cork. So they have to get the ball into the likes of Horgan and Jack O'Connor, and I think they have to manufacture a goal to win this game.
Goal, very hard to see right now where one is going to come from.
Yeah, like they've had a couple of half chances. Shane Kingston, maybe the one that Jack O'Connor took in along the end line, but nothing clear cut really. But that's what they have to do. They have to win possession, and they really have to drive at Limerick and really show the desire to win the game. And you know, Shane Barrett has come on, he hasn't really touched the ball, so you know, it's yeah, I agree. It's hard to see how they get the goal, but this is the test. This is championship. They're young players. You know, they looked to have a great future there a couple of years ago when they got to the All-Ireland semi-final with all these young players. But to kick on to the next level really is the question for Cork. And to do that, these are the situations that you have to find something in. And when you're 6 points down, you actually have to find goals. And this is the question for them now, to see their character out here and see whether they can manufacture something here.
Well, the prize for the winners, a place in the Munster final in 2 weeks' time. The losers, they head to the qualifiers in a fortnight as well. And the more scenic route to the knockout stages of the championship. Ball knocked in around the house into the danger zone. Lifted by Richie English. And here's Conor Boylan. Limerick doing his best to hold him up. William O'Donoghue, what a shift he's put in. Back to Richie English again. Limerick staying very calm here under pressure. Kyle Hayes. The Cork bench claiming he overcarried. John Kiley, I think, felt he deserved a free. Paul O'Dwyer lets them at it as Conor Boylan fires it out towards Barry Nash. And that untidy passage of play comes to an end.
Yeah, Limerick did a lot of hard work there, really, for nothing. And but again, you know, just as they seem to be gaining in confidence and working the ball among themselves, someone makes a mistake and overdoes a hand pass or something like that. So Limerick really, again, not at their best, but at the same time, looked like they can keep Cork at bay.
Ball well taken in full flight by Dara Fitzgibbon. Bounces it up nicely to himself on the run. Lynch is after him, trying to stay with him. Fitzgibbon, this would be some score, and it is. Dara Fitzgibbon racing down the field and finishing in real style.
Great score and leadership from Dara Fitzgibbon. Watch, Cian Lynch is tracking him all the way. In fairness, him waiting to try and get the hook, and Fitzgibbon shortens it, and eventually off the hurley gets a great score.
5 points between the teams. Shane Barrett, the fresh legs of the Cork substitute. This is championship debut. Hits the 65. Let's fly. 2 in a row for Cork. And slowly and surely, they're starting to reel Limerick back in.
Yeah, maybe this is where the pace will tell. Shane Barrett found himself in acres of space and showed a lot of confidence now, just after coming on. This is his first shot at goals, straight through the middle.
So Cork make a change. 24, Alan Cadigan from Douglas. And he will bring even more pace to the Cork forward line. Robbie O'Flynn, the man who's come out. Any moment now, Dan Morrissey will be coming into the Limerick defence. Well, it's tight and it's fast and furious out there, and on the sideline, John Kiley and Kieran Kingston matching each other move for move as well.
Yeah, but Dara Fitzgibbon now really driving at Limerick.
Patrick Horgan with the free. This to keep Cork's good run going, and he's missed it.
Yeah, Patrick Horgan's frees really all day, maybe including the penalty, hadn't been at his normal high standard, and again he's fooled by the wind across the pitch here.
Well, there is that change. Dan Morrissey, two-time All-Star, two-time All-Ireland medal winner, replaces Barry Nash as John Kiley tries to lock down that Cork full forward line.
Yeah, Dan Morrissey hasn't played a lot of hurling during the league, but an outstanding season last season.
Ball dug out there by Sean O'Leary-Hayes, fouled on his way out. Limerick hanging on, or Cork rather, hanging on in there. Limerick now just struggling for scores themselves, and they're going to make another change. Graham Mulcahy from Kilmallock is coming on. Made his championship debut way back in 2009, and he's in for Seamus Flanagan. The exertions of this Munster semi-final now starting to take their toll on both sides.
Yeah, ref judges Alan Cadigan, you know, lies or fouls the ball over in the corner there, and relief for the Limerick full back line.
Diarmuid Burns just scanning the horizon. Garrod Hegarty caught in his heels a little. Possession lost by Tim O'Mahony. Now William O'Donoghue. O'Mahony is after him. Patrick Horgan back to help out in his own defence. Now Limerick from Father O'Neill's will take it clear. One man in there, he's outnumbered though 3-1. Diarmuid Burns gets in front of Jack O'Connor. Back to Finn. That had to be precise. Chasing in after it was Alan Cadigan. Limerick living a little dangerously as Declan Hannon Down he goes to Aaron Gillan, the spearhead of the Limerick attack right now. Here's Graham Mulcahy trying to use his experience, but just bumped off it by Cadigan. And Sean O'Leary-Hayes moves it up the line.
Yeah, Limerick struggling to score here now at the moment, and Cork actually growing in confidence and using their pace here. So, you know, another point or two here for Cork, and they'll be right back in this.
Man foul there was Luke Meade on his way out. Still plenty of time, so much time. Cork have got a very good record against Limerick in the championship over the last few seasons. Very rarely much between them. As Patrick Horgan comes all the way back to take a look at this. He's 33 now, the Cork captain. Played at this level for 14 seasons. He's got so much big game experience, but it hasn't been his evening from the frees. He's missed them from left, right and centre, and that now brings Cork wide tally up to a dozen.
And Patrick Horgan has 4 or 5 of them, but Limerick, it's just aimless stuff really. You know, Morrissey again overhitting the pass, and you can see John Kiley, you know, they are nervous down there.
But it hasn't been the Munster Championship Classic we were hoping for, but it has been compelling, and it's still very much in the balance. Fitzgibbon back to Luke Meade. Jack O'Connor makes his move and times his run. He's got the run on Sean Finn, goes by Richie English. Whistle goes, free out for overcarrying. Big call, and Cork not one bit happy.
Yeah, big call, but you know, he clearly, I mean, he's carried it way too far. But in a lot of cases, most players are over carrying anyway, and the ref doesn't blow it. But in that case, it's the right call by the ref.
Jack O'Connor just trying to get his breath back after that energy-sapping run. Diarmaid Burns from the arc of his own semicircle, asking an awful lot of Graham Mulcahy, who was at full stretch there and did well. Kept it alive for Aaron Gillan. Very little by way of support. Gillan takes on the impossible shot, really. Wide on his own side.
Yeah, but he had to take on the shot because there was no one coming to support him. And Limerick looked very, very flat-footed and dead on their feet to me at this stage.
Limerick not driving home their advantage in terms of territory and possession. And Cork still just a score or two away from being right back on terms. Ball recycled back out the field. And there is another chance gone a-begging. Mark Coleman, the latest player to miss the target. So many chances. Yeah, just hit aimlessly wide of the goal.
There's certainly a chance for Cork, but they're really they're proven incapable of taking it just now.
But it has the feel just now of one of those games that's there for the taking. Limerick 4 points in front without being too convincing. Peter Casey, he's got Ger Millerick after it. Casey cuts inside, and there's another example.
And still loads of time here, you know, with injury time. There's at least 10 minutes here, so this game is there to be won by either side.
Kieran Kingston planning another change, perhaps. Looking for somebody to produce a moment of magic, a moment of inspiration that would break this stalemate that has developed. Quick line ball in towards Alan Cadigan. Covering back with Diarmaid Burns. Used his experience really well. Fouled by Shane Kingston.
Yeah, Diarmaid Burns redeems himself there, really. He probably should have initially let the puck go out over the sideline, but he chose to try and control it and brought it down and out over the line himself, but he eventually redeemed himself and redeems the situation. But Limerick need a score here.
Just to underline the issues their attack has run into, no score now for Limerick for the last 10 minutes of this game. Ball bobbles around the Cork half-back line, picked by Damien Cahalane. Paul O'Dwyer gives him the advantage. Shane Barrett, very pacey player. The man from Blarney lost his footing. Ball goes in the general direction of Callahan again. Cork being forced backwards though as Limerick hunt them down. Here's Owen Cadigan, rare chance for him to get forward. Hits the 65, takes on the shot. And Owen Cadigan didn't hit it with any conviction.
Limerick are really out in their feet. You know, Gerard Hegarty, Graham Mull, or Peter Casey in that last piece of action, neither of them could actually make any bit of tracks for the ball at all. And Cork are just, the chances are there for them to drive on and win this game if they really desire.
Well, Limerick did take a break, a collective break early in the year after winning that All-Ireland title. Returned late to training programmes. And maybe, just maybe, they're starting to hit the wall. But Cork unable to ask any hard questions as Diarmaid Byrnes shoots from the halfway line. And that brings that long, barren spell to a spectacular end. 2 points for Diarmaid Byrnes. The lead is out to 5 again. And the ball is very much back in Cork's court. Shane Barrett, nobody ahead of him. Barrett takes on the shot and cancels out that score down at the other end. So another change as John Kiley tries to get the 2 in a row Munster champions firing. It's David Reedy who's going to replace Garrod Hegarty. David Reedy, who picked up a knock in the warm-up and obviously is none the worse for wear. He will bring a very different sort of challenge to the Cork half-back line. Yeah,
not a surprise to see Garrod Hegarty going off because he was really floundering there for the last number of minutes.
Cian Lynch picks out the pass. And David Reedy, who's just come in, spurns his first opportunity. We've now had a total of 31 wides in this Munster semi-final.
Great chance by David Reedy, and you know he's struggled over the last number of years to nail down a place for Limerick, and maybe a bit over anxious at times when he chooses to shoot.
5 minutes of normal time to play, 4 points between the teams.
The Limerick full back line really has really been holding out very, very well, and a lot of ball coming at him.
It has developed into an arm wrestle in this second half as Kyle Hayes lets fly. And it really is spreading through this Limerick team now. As John Kiley decides it's time to send in a proven finisher, another one. Pat Ryan will replace Aaron Gillan, who just seems to have run out of gas a little in the last 5-10 minutes. And that now means that Limerick have replaced 4 of their starting forward line. Doesn't happen very often as the ball is worked to Diarmaid Byrnes, and he will shoot on sight all evening long. In fact, it was Declan Hannon, and Declan Hannon has just clocked up Limerick's 19th wide of the match.
It's incredible. Clare had 22 wides last weekend, and you know Limerick ready with 6 or 7 minutes to go on track to match that. But at the same time, Cork just not really able to take the chance that has been presented to them at all, and their Limerick full back line and backs been able to, Kyle Hayes, you know, these monsters in the backs able to thwart everything.
A second chance for David Reedy to make an impression, and he's unable to take it either. But Limerick leaving Cork in it, but Cork unable to engineer any goal-scoring opportunities. Scored 18 goals in the Allianz League. They were scoring them for fun. But it's been a different story this evening as Limerick keep on knocking on the door, and eventually Graham Mulcahy pops up with what could turn out to be a priceless score.
Yeah, typical Graham Mulcahy score. You know, does all the hard work, does the block and the hook, and blocks down that hand pass, and then for a change hits the ball over the bar from a Limerick perspective.
Ball caught in the Limerick back line by Dan Morrissey. Out to Kyle Hayes, man who scored the Limerick goal in the first half. Lovely quick exchange of hand passes to Cian Lynch. the freestyler at the heart of that Limerick attack, to Conor Boylan. He has support, he's going it alone. Free out. Conor Boylan adjudged to have been barging there, and Paul O'Dwyer gives Cork the benefit of the doubt.
I find it hard to understand that decision here. When we come, looks like a foul to me.
Well, we're just hearing Conor Boylan has been booked for Paul O'Dwyer's interpretation of what he did there. I think he may have adjudged that he held on to the arm of the Cork defender as Kieran Kingston prepares to roll the dice one last time. Alan Connolly from Blackrock is getting to come in, man who scored 4 goals during the course of the Allianz League.
Yeah,
and he will be sent to the edge of the square, you'd imagine.
For sure, a player I think they have a lot of hopes for in Cork. He had a great season last year with Blackrock, and you know it's interesting that they didn't choose to go with him today. But you know it will be a good chance. Well, he has 3 or 4 minutes to prove himself, and he's going to be marked by Sean Finn, so it'll be a good test.
So Shane Kingston, the man who hit the Limerick net in the first half, he's been taken out. William O'Donoghue under pressure from Mark Coleman. So Mark Coleman standing over this sideline cut, knocks it up the line. Time is running out for Cork now. We're heading towards additional time. Alan Cadigan smuggles it forward to Dara Fitzgibbon. Is this to be their chance? Fitzgibbon whips it up and over the bar. It's back to a 4-point game, and that is point number 3 of the match for Dara Fitzgibbon.
We still need that goal that JJ and Ollie were talking about at the water break.
We're going to have at least 4 minutes of additional time. 4 points between the teams. It's surely now a goal or bust for Cork. Alan Connolly has gone in to the edge of the square. Sean Finn has picked him up. As Limerick get a chance, and they take it. Well, Cian Lynch is the one man in this second half that Limerick would want to get on the ball in that situation, and he nails it. So Limerick's lead is out to 5 as we tick into stoppage time at the end of this Munster semi-final. So a stoppage here and a chance, Nicky, for you to tell us who's your Bord Gáis Energy man of the match.
At half-time, it was definitely between Kyle Hayes and Cian Lynch, and Sean Finn was outstanding in the second half. But I think, you know, the key moments of this game were just before half-time, and all through, Kyle Hayes has been monstrous in the half-back line. So for me, man of the match is Kyle Hayes, number 7 for Limerick.
Here's his comrade in the Limerick half-back line, Diarmuid Burns. And the Munster and All-Ireland champions now, finally, eventually turning the screw. There is Nicky's Bord Gáis Energy man of the match, who crowns his 22nd appearance in the championship with a 4th goal and a powerful display. As Sean Finn, who was in the conversation as well, clears his lines once more. Limerick have clear blue water now between themselves and Cork. 2 minutes to go. Tim O'Mahony wrapped up and fouled, and right now it looks like Cork are heading for the qualifiers. Limerick for yet another Munster final, and their hopes of a 3 in a row of provincial titles will live on a little longer. Of course, it's a feat that hasn't been achieved since Tip completed the hat-trick back in the summer of 1989. You remember it well, Nicky?
I remember it well, Mike. It's a long time ago now. It's hard to believe that it hasn't been done since. But Limerick ominously are heading forward, and they have lots of room to improve. The review during the week will be interesting. All the wides they hit, John Kiley will have plenty to work on, and you know, plenty to get them back to the drawing board, and they'll be very, very difficult opponents for whoever will come through tomorrow. But Cork will be very, very disappointed really with their display tonight as well.
But Cork will have so many regrets. Limerick have hit 4 of the last 6 points as Cork come in search of that elusive second goal. Nothing doing here either. The final ball was poorly struck, and Limerick will now try and play on the counter. It's in towards Pat Ryan. It falls nicely for Peter Casey. So sharp, so cute and so accurate. 3 points for the corner forward from the Piershik.
Yeah, very classy player. Peter Casey always makes the right decisions and chooses the easy point there and just stretches Limerick into an unassailable lead.
They've now hit 3 on the bounce. Here is a goal chance. And Nicky Quaid, safe as a house. Sun shining into his eyes. Never wavered. Made his championship debut 11 years ago, the Limerick goalkeeper, still going strong.
And how important was his penalty save tonight, really, when they really needed it. He did the same against Cork in the All-Ireland semi-final when he miraculously saved that ball from Seamus Harnedy in 2018. And same again for, you know, Cork really, they needed that goal from the penalty at that stage.
Peter Casey pops it across, spaces and gaps beginning to appear, and if at first you don't succeed, David Reedy has got that point that had been eluding him for so long. And there goes the final whistle. Well, the green machine may not have been firing on all cylinders tonight, but John Kiley's team take care of business. It's another championship win. It's another Munster final coming down the tracks in 2 weeks' time. Limerick will take on either Tipperary or Clare. They leave plenty of room for improvement, but they've been too good for Cork on the night, who didn't get the goals they needed, and it is bitter disappointment for Kieran Kingston.
Yeah, bitter disappointment for Kieran Kingston. They've put a lot of work into it and came tonight with high hopes, really. They thought they were going to perform very well, and you know, they really had targeted goals all through the league, but ultimately that plan came completely unstuck here tonight, and you know, really disappointing for them going into the qualifiers the way they're going into it. They really didn't show anything really in the last 15-20 minutes when Limerick looked to be tired at one stage and maybe there for the taking, but you know, Limerick just saw it out well in the end. Their full back line well on top. Kyle Hayes outstanding at the half back line. Will O'Donoghue put in a big shift in the middle of the field, and you know, from there on, even with the wides, they were clear winners.
Well, it wasn't a vintage performance from the All-Ireland champions, but they're through. It's finished here at Semple Stadium. Limerick 222, Cork 117.